Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
On today's episode, we're discussing the hotly anticipated I'll Be Seeing You, which originally aired on the Hallmark Channel on Saturday, April 25th, and is currently available to stream on Hallmark Plus. A couple quick things. We are on Instagram and we do have a Facebook group, and both of them are full of people who love Hallmark as much as you do. We're Girls Gone Hallmark everywhere. So join us on your social media platform of choice.
Oh my gosh. And if you're not following us on Instagram, I highly recommend it because we put our schedule out there. Mm-hmm. You know, I saw you shared it last night and I was like, whoa.
There's even an episode that we're dropping this week that's not on the schedule, but we'll let you know on Instagram when that drops.
I'm like, how are we functioning right now? I don't know. But anyway, come follow us over there.
Please. Hey, let's talk I'll Be Seeing You with a synopsis.
When a work errand derails Amy's weekend plans with her grandma, they embark on a road trip with one sentimental detour, but need the help of a charming activities director.
Oh, he is indeed charming. Mm-hmm. Jessica Harmon directed I'll Be Seeing You. A few of her other Hallmark projects are Catch of the Day and all three of the Aurora Teagarden reboot movies.
The teleplay is by Joey Elkins and Blake Silver. The story is from Kathy Cloves and Joey Elkins and Blake Silver.
Tyler Hynes stars as Mark. He also serves as executive producer. This is his first project for the network.
Hey-oh, I don't think it's last. Mm-hmm. Stacey Farber stars as Amy. She's currently co-starring in season 2 of the series Brilliant Minds. Is that a CBS? I'm guessing. Me thinks that might be a CBS
like a
show.
CSI adjacent situation. Mm-hmm. Tony Award-winning actress Christine Ebersole co-stars as Vivian. We last saw Christine on Hallmark in Holiday Touchdown, A Chief's Love Story.
Co-starring who?
Co-starring Tyler Hynes.
Yeah. Familiar face BJ Harrison plays Sue. She was recently in She's Making a List late last year.
Fred Henderson plays Teddy. Fred has a deep and varied resume, but we last saw him on Hallmark in Christmas on Cherry Lane.
I'll Be Seeing You was filmed in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada during September 2025.
Hey, Wendy, what was your first impression of I'll Be Seeing You?
Mr. Golden Delicious showed up.
He sure did. My first impression is after watching this movie, I can't help but think, what's my log cabin?
Oh, that's a very...
I don't have an answer to that question.
Interesting question, and one I must ponder for myself.
Yes. Let's talk what we liked.
Can I start?
Mm-hmm.
I have a big list.
Same.
I loved, not just liked, but I loved the multi-generational storytelling in this movie. It really worked for me. And most importantly, I think it really matters. This movie is not just like, oh, throw these two familiar characters in your movie and like as, you know, background fun or a little comic relief or whatever. Like I felt that Vivian and Sue were the backbone of this movie, and I love their perspective on love and life, and I think it is the entire reason for the movie. Like these two are the movie.
You know, it's interesting because I have this in my Did You See That's, but Tyler posted a tribute to some of the incredible stars he's worked with on Instagram, basically saying like, this movie is for you. And it was clips of him in movies like Always Amore, It Was Always You, and of course, Holiday Touchdown. And it's clips of Paula Shaw, Ellen Ross Gibson, Patty McCormick, Ed Begley Jr. I think your point speaks to that. Like, this is who he made the movie for. The love story exists, but he just has a lot of respect for these actors.
Yeah, that's nice. That's really nice. Like this man knows what he's doing, right? He knows what he's doing. To continue with my in terms of the storytelling, what I loved about the characters of Vivian and Sue is that they don't lecture. Mm-hmm. And I thought the wisdom that they shared, their perspective that they shared, it was based on a life well lived with love and loss and lessons they have learned. And I just thought it was so nice. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think while we're talking about this ensemble cast, we have off the charts chemistry from the entire ensemble in multiple pairings. Mm-hmm. Like, I think Vivian and Amy have great grandmother-granddaughter chemistry. Amy and Mark have great love interest chemistry. Viv and Sue have that great best friend chemistry. Mark and Viv and Sue, they have this like surrogate grandson mutual respect situation going on. There's no pairing that you're disappointed to see, that you're rushing through to get to the next part.
Yeah.
It's just an absolute dream of an ensemble cast.
I think so too. There was one scene where I almost got choked up. It was towards the end, and it's between BJ Harrison, Sue, and Mark, and she's just giving him this like wise friend advice and like kind of like, you know, consoling him, like I'm gonna say rubbing his back, but it not, you know what I mean? Like the grandma pat on the back, it's okay sort of energy. And it was very believable in terms of like, oh, I'm watching these characters, but like I wonder if just the set was very like comfortable between the actors, like that they felt that they could go to this space and have these like genuine connections between each other. It really translated on screen, I thought.
Look, I texted you, but this is the kind of movie where you get the Hynie hype. And I'm always a fan of Tyler. I like his work, but this really is the kind of movie that will fuel the rabid fandom that he has. I have not seen a single negative take about this movie. If you look at our first impressions on Instagram and on Facebook, people are raving about this movie. You know, Tyler is good at what he does, but he's exceptionally good at what he does in this movie. That being said, throwing it back to the ensemble, he's not carrying this movie on his back. And I like that. It's not the Tyler show. He's great in it. You worried in our first impression that this was going to be more of a vehicle for the grandmother-granddaughter story. And I don't think it is that at all. I think he's an equal player in these storylines. Sometimes it's hard when you have someone like Tyler and he's the focus and the movie's good because Tyler's in it. And it is good because he's in it, but it's not good solely because he's in it.
I agree. I have a lot to say about him. I thought this was a noticeably different Tyler performance in the very best way. He was less broody and less snarky. And I say that because my last Tyler impression is like from The Three Wisest Men. Like he's, you know, what was his character? Taylor. Taylor. That's right. Why would they do that? Taylor. So confusing to me. Anyway, as Taylor in The Three Wisest Men, you know, he's like a little gritty, a little snarky, a little sarcastic.
He throws a lot of lines away.
Right. And here he's a little more warm, emotionally available, kind. I really enjoyed the character of Mark. And I mean, obviously Tyler has like that effortless charisma, but it was really paired nicely with the character of Mark being this warm, kind, caring.
Really funny, but not in a sarcastic way.
Yeah. Really nice. At one point during the movie, Mark and Amy are having like this big, nice discussion. And I was like, he's like this character played by Tyler. I wondered, would we spill our guts to him? Like he was so like,
I know, but every time you see him, like, don't you think that's who he is?
Yes. That's why I was like, if we've ever had him on the show, I wonder like what that dynamic would be. Would he seem as interested in what we were saying as we were in him, you know?
I think that's part of his magic is that he makes people feel like that.
Yeah, seen, right?
We have seen him speak at events, and I just think he has that effect on people.
Yeah.
I think that's a special thing to be able to do because it doesn't come across as put on. It doesn't come across. It comes across as very genuine, and people react to that. You know, when you make people feel good in your presence, that's the kind of thing that people remember you for.
For sure.
And I think it's a special person that can be able to do that.
For sure. Also, let's talk about his wardrobe for a second.
Oh, he got the classic Tyler sweater at the end.
That Aztec print sweater died. I loved it. He looks so good in it.
He looks so good. And that like rolled collar is very much a Tyler look. And that's kind of that's kind of the only one we got in the movie. I was like, okay, there he is. There he is.
Yeah, I thought he looked so good in it. And then he was wearing like this fitted white button-up tee. You know when they crash that engagement party and he steals that jacket?
Yeah.
Like, damn, he looks good. Looks real good. I see you, costume department. Good job.
Nicely done.
And I even wondered, I was like, is this what Tyler Hynes would wear? It felt I mean, I don't know what the man wears in his like actual downtime, but like I love that kind of like cuffed jean and boot. Like it just looks good. Also, if you're a longtime listener of the show, you know that I have gone through a period of time where I really hated Tyler Hynes' hair.
Oh, yeah.
The long style. I hated it. I hated it. The man's hair looks so good.
It's great.
The way that it's cut, it looks so good. So good. There's some other things I really liked about this movie. I thought the dialogue and the banter felt very smart and natural. The conversations, especially in the car scenes, I thought were really fun to listen to. When Mark and Amy talk about her job and they're like riffing on like UFOs, and I just thought that all that stuff was so funny. And like that would be like two people getting to know each other. Like that's naturally how they would talk to each other. Really enjoyed that. I have two more likes that I want to talk about, but I don't want to. What do you have?
Visually, this movie I thought was stunning. Victoria in Vancouver, if you've ever been there, it is stunningly beautiful, but it's also, I think a lot of care was taken to make this entire movie beautiful. It's trying to serve as, Oregon and Northern California. And you've been to coastal Oregon, and I thought they nailed that vibe when they're driving through the trees. I also thought the senior living facility where Viv and Sue live is a dream of a place.
For us together to live at some point?
Yes.
I was like, this is you and I. This is so you and I.
No, and I was like, these people are just like living their best lives out here. I loved it. Please let me live here. I thought even the details on Mark's truck, right down to the fluttery curtains, were a visual delight. You talked about the dialogue. I'd like to call out some lines that just tickled me. Viv saying that's a hair appointment, not a date. Sue saying spill the tea, BJ Harrison. Mark had a lot of great lines. He says, I'm discount Jack Reacher.
Yep.
He says, you can't lock in a vibe that far in advance. He's saying, I came in too hot. Just made me laugh. One of my favorite things is when an actor can throw a line away, and Stacey as Amy does it when she's telling the Bachelorette story around the fire, and she kind of trails off and she's like, I didn't go. It's amazing. I laughed out loud. We didn't talk a lot about Stacey yet, but back to their chemistry. When Mark pulls Amy in for a dance at the engagement party,
yes,
and she's like, here, and right in her ear, he says, where else? There's something about the tone of his voice that gave me actual butterflies.
It's the Andrew Walker. It's the same
Ashley Williams kiss, that moment.
Yes, and the what the hell is
Jingle Bell Run.
Yes, and Jingle Bell Run. It's that same sort of very intimate sort of whisper talk that just makes you weak in the knees. Yes.
It was great.
Good stuff.
I'm so glad we got to hear Christine Ebersole singing. The woman has 4 Tony Awards, and I think it would have been a crime to not have her sing in this. And it was done so naturally. It wasn't like,
oh my God, it's so cute.
It's so cute, and it makes perfect sense with the story and with the setting. And it wasn't like, well, the woman's got a Tony, let's have her sing. It was like, let's find the perfect way.
Yeah, I loved it.
And I have one last tiny little like. I thought the opening song, Happy Feeling, and the font in the opening credits, super groovy.
I loved it.
Oh, and I'm sure this is one of yours. The opening race scene is such a fun edit with the crowd cheering on and the cuts and the edit. Did I steal all of your final likes?
You didn't.
Awesome.
No, my 2 final likes. My biggest one is I thought this story had a thoughtful take on work versus life and that balance of doing things. I have a little bit more in my wishes about it, but what I liked is that it questions if Amy is leaving enough room for anything else in her life besides her job, right? And you and I have been going through like a lot of stuff behind the scenes, like here, like we have our work and it's overflowing right now, and we're grateful for that. But we also have a lot of things in our personal life and then desires to do fun things too. And so we've been trying to balance it all, and it's a dance, right? And so I thought this story about Amy and her pursuit to, be the best at her job and reach her goals and all that stuff was very relatable.
Sure.
But also offered an important question, like, what else is she enjoying in her life? Like, she should have other things to enjoy.
Yeah, what's your log cabin?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do have a tiny bit to talk about it in my wishes, but other than that, I thought it was a nice take on kind of a familiar Hallmark theme.
Sure.
My last I read an IMDb review.
Uh-oh.
And somebody was like complaining about the story not making any sense because in 2026 there'd be DocuSigns and you wouldn't have to like go and meet with this person to have something signed in person, which I think is false because if
She wasn't going to have it signed in person.
she was going to close the deal basically
because he needed
assure him.
hand holding.
Exactly. So that's why I was like, just let's not overthink these details. As someone who can get caught in the minutia of dumb details in these movies.
Yeah, but also they're wrong about the reason she goes. She's not going because she needs to be there. Because she even says, "Oh, I'll walk him through it over the phone."
Right.
Let's take a quick break and we'll come right back with our wishes. Hey, well, let's talk what we wished for while we were watching this movie.
I don't have many, but I'm going to continue about Amy's career, if I may. This movie wants to say, don't let work consume you, but it sometimes slips into maybe dismissing Amy's job.
Yeah, for sure.
And that doesn't sit right for me because Amy's job matters. Her goals matter. She's not wrong for caring about her career. And sometimes I feel like Mark pushes back on that because he's kind of the guy that,
I go where the wind takes me.
Where the leaves fall. Yeah, exactly. All that. And that to me doesn't feel like, it feels like we're undermining her a little bit. And I don't
People
like that.
need jobs.
Yeah.
People, and it's fine to have goals and it's fine to enjoy your job and want to do well at your job.
My biggest critique is I feel like the movie tells us they're advocating for balance in somebody's life. But is she rewarded once she loosens the grip on her career, like with love?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And why can't both exist?
It's a good point. And when Mark leaves because Sue has fainted, he makes her feel really badly about not leaving with him. And that's the one scene I didn't really like. I understood his need to leave. He felt committed and I understood why he felt like he needed to be there for her.
And responsible. Yes.
Yes. And that is fine. She's an adult woman. You can go. But I thought it could have done without the guilt because Sue and Viv were together. She wasn't alone. She had someone and he was going to go. So I think it was perfectly reasonable for her to say, I came all this way. I'm going to finish the work that I have and I'm not a doctor. I can't actually help her. I'll be right there.
Yeah.
I think that was reasonable.
I think so too.
I only really have, other than that, one small wish. And we talked about don't get too caught up in the details. But well, my one small quibble is the entire plot hinges on this. But when the group splits up because Amy has to get to her work appointment and Viv wants to take a detour to find Teddy, it seemed like Viv had waited 50 years to see Teddy. They probably could have made that part happen on the return trip.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. It doesn't open up all of our other issues. You know, we don't get to have Mark and Amy have their solo road trip, and I very much enjoyed that. But it seemed like there was also an obvious solution here.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but
you got nothing but time on the return trip.
I think you're right. I think you are right.
Any other wishes?
Just one. I kind of wish this was a movie that had a 1 year later end scene.
Oh, yeah.
Because show us how Amy has had a big transformation from loosening the grip on work and finding balance in life. I just think that would have worked here.
I agree. Let's talk. Did you see that?
Before I jump into before I jump into my two Did You See That's, which are not actually technically Did You See That's, we barely talked about Stacey Farber.
Yeah, and I think this is the best I've ever seen her.
I enjoyed her a lot. I would like to see her in more movies. She could definitely. Has she carried a Christmas movie?
Yeah, she had that Hanukkah movie.
That was so good. Mm-hmm. You're right.
I want to call it the Mark Summers movie, but
the Mark Summers movie. You're funny. Okay, so my first Did You See That? Let's talk about the VW bus. This is built for vibes, this bus. When I'm watching them on this long car ride in a bus that probably has crappy suspension and those seats are not built for comfort. They're in a bench seat where it's just up and
the air
down.
conditioning's probably not all that great.
Oh my God. The radio is the original. Like they're not streaming
stunningly
music.
beautiful on the inside, though. It was very nicely restored on the inside.
I know, but still.
I agree. Look, my dad drove a VW bus in the 70s, and he tells the story of, I swear it was driving home from their honeymoon at a lake. They got married at 19 and 20. They had no money. And my mom is asleep and he's driving. And, the windshield's like right in front of you.
Yeah.
And he said there were like bugs on the windshield. And he was from like the inside flicking the windshield to. And at one point, the windshield just goes.
It cracked?
Completely.
From flicking at it?
So.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, that's always what I think when I see one. Now that they make the new electric vans, he's like, please go get one.
You?
I'm like, it's a minivan, Dad. He's like, I know, but they're so cool. I'm like, I really don't want one.
You're not in a stage of life to drive
I don't need a minivan.
They're
like cool looking.
Okay.
Well, speaking of the van, there are at least 2 moments where the van is shown from an overhead shot driving through a field, and it looks like a toy, and I'm convinced that those scenes are CGI. I rewound. I watched them twice. Oh. Somebody please confirm those were not drone shots. The van's not even the same color.
Oh, really?
Like the color is like, it's more teal than blue.
Nice catch. I'm going to have to rewatch. I want to see.
It looks like you're watching Thomas the Train.
Oh.
Tyler posted a behind the scenes video also, speaking of the van, where Stacey's driving, but apparently Stacey Farber cannot drive a stick shift. And so in this video, Stacey's steering and Tyler is doing gas brake and clutch. Like he's seated like diagonally, and they're not driving. She's
sexy,
right? She's just turning the van around, but they needed to get the shot. And my guess is they don't address this in his little BTS on Instagram, but my guess is in the other shots where I'm doing air quotes, driving down the road, they're on like a trailer.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe it's just green screen out the window for all I know. But it didn't seem like it.
No, I think in our first impression, I was worried about like the amount of
road trip green screen.
Yeah, I didn't. If it was green screen, they did it well. It was not distracting. I thought all those car
like
scenes
they were driving
were great. Yeah. My only other did you see that is just a funny nod. I like that Stacey had to always Amy had to explain what her job was like over and over again, and nobody could quite understand it. I just thought that was really funny.
It's giving Chandler Bing.
Yes, exactly.
When we get the reveal of Teddy, played by Fred Henderson, it felt like we were supposed to know him. He opens the door and it's like a reveal. Well, Fred and Christine did appear together in the 2003 movie An Unexpected Love, a Lifetime movie, which has terrible IMDb reviews.
Oh.
They're not the lead in that movie. My guess is that it was a 2003 movie about a lesbian couple and people freaked out.
Oh, interesting.
Speaking of Teddy, there's a character who plays young Teddy in this movie when they find...
He was wrong. The wrong Teddy?
On IMDb, the actor's name is Adam Fox, and on IMDb, he is credited as the wrong Teddy.
That's
and
hilarious.
It slayed me. Finally, this is really one of the only 2 Did You See That's in this list. Amy is talking to her grandma in the beginning of the movie. They're FaceTiming and she's like, I'm at the park. And she pans to show the park and it's fully blurred out because in the shot of Amy, like we get in a lot of our Hallmark movies, it's a real depth of field moment where Amy's in focus in the background. It's fully blurred out. And when she shows the park is still fully blurred out.
Oh, I totally remember that scene. I don't remember that detail though.
Hey, what did you rate this movie?
Easily the best movie from the spring lineup. I give it 5 stars.
I gave it 5 stars too.
Hey.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark. If you love this podcast, we love your 5-star ratings and reviews, just like we gave to this movie right here. We'll be back next time with more reviews. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.